Good morning, good morning, good morning, fellow humans. Today is Friday, August 29th, 2025, the last Friday in August. Got the porcupine syndrome going on again today. I just got my haircut yesterday. Anyway, here we go. So it's the fifth Friday of August. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. This is Department of Career Services, where our goal is to help our students and other people through this life. Today, we're going to talk about thoughts on betrayal from Jordan Peterson. But before we do that, just a quick intro of why we're here. We're here to help our students and other people build better habits. What's a habit? A habit is unconscious behavior, things we do unconsciously. Hopefully to make our lives better, but sometimes it's a bad habit. We do it without thinking, and it's not good. So we want to identify those, replace habits with better habits. Right, you are. So that's a thing we want to do. How do we build better habits? Well, we have a routine, and then we repetition until it feels uncomfortable if we don't do it. Something's wrong if we don't do it. That's all we do. Then we want to have a proto habit, a habit below each habit, which basically gets us to do the habit a little bit better instead of just coasting through every time we seek perfection. Just a little bit better every time we do it. Okay, that's our reason for being here, to help our students and interested people on this one and done journey through life, which in the big scheme of things, 100 years is nothing. 100 years is like the width of a hair on our head compared to a 7.84 mile walk. It's nothing. So any pain, any discomfort we have here, really compared to eternity, they're nothing. Nothingness. Maybe tomorrow we'll talk about eternity. I'll put that on my thing. Eternity. Tomorrow. Done. Handled. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about betrayal. But before we do that, let's look at our worksheet. So the repetition is watching this daily. The improvement is to go into the worksheet, see down below, or on Facebook, YouTube, X, Indeed. Go to those and our websites. The worksheet is there. That's where the magic happens for learning. But for our purposes right now, advice from an 80-year-old, don't burn bridges. You'd be surprised how many times you have to cross the same river. Right, don't burn bridges. We want people to help us move forward in life, not to create obstacles to our moving forward or barriers to our moving forward. Anytime there's a resource, we want to be able to use it, maybe now, maybe later. So that's advice from an 80-year-old. What does Seth Godin have to say today? Well, he's talking about poison. Poison. Don't swallow polonium-210. You won't last long and it won't be pleasant. There are poisons all around us. The arsenic in your rice, the drain cleaner under your sink. Alas, some poisons are impossible to avoid, and it's not productive to live a life that's poison-free, but it might be worth considering three questions when we think about poison. 1, how fast does it act? There's a difference between a bowl of brown rice and taking up base jumping. I don't know what that means. 2, who else does it harm? Poisons that we spread to others are less moral than the ones we expose ourselves to. True. 3, how much does it cost to avoid? What do we have to do to our systems, our expectations, and our methods to avoid this poison? This analysis makes it clear that banning gas-powered leaf blowers is a no-brainer. They are instantly noisy and noxious, and they make more of an impact on our climate than just about any item in our garage, and they do so quickly. They harm others at least as much as they harm the user, and avoiding their use is convenient and saves money. In addition to actual poisons, most of us wrestle with the emotional and spiritual poisons that are dumped in front of us every day. Persistent systems are good at sticking around, and that's true even when they're bringing actual poison with them. As we seek to build a more resilient path forward, perhaps it pays to experience the short-term discomfort associated with fixing a dangerous system now, rather than living with the poison it creates over time. Okay, poison. Poison, poison, poison. What else on our hit parade? The wealth building formula they never taught you. Yeah, that was an interesting one. Darren Hardy today. Good link below. So there's 3 currencies: time, money, and skill. And it takes 2 of them to acquire the third. So it takes time and money to develop skill. It takes skill and time to develop money. And it takes skill and money to have time, right? If you have money and you have skill, then you have time. Let's go off on a little tangent here. Something I was thinking of: an effectiveness formula. Formula for effectiveness. Oh, by the way, this is day 5, week 3 in the course. Derek Sivers wraps up what we learned Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. He puts on a short little TED Talk on how to create a movement. And all of the things we learned Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday are there. So that's week 3, day 5 coming to an end. But the effectiveness formula. So here's a way to judge people. Number 1, are they educated? 2, are they articulate? 3, are they attractive? And I think we find that the most effective people are educated, articulate, and attractive. And then we can put some numbers to this. So most people that are educated are better off than people who are not educated. However, there are some very articulate people who are not educated. They just are very articulate. They're very persuasive. They're very believable. They know how to speak. Lincoln was one such person. He was not well educated. He was educated better than most, but he was self-educated. He didn't go to a law school, university. He was self-educated, very autodidactic. So he was not well educated compared to well-educated people, but he was much better educated than the average person, because then he was self-taught. Okay. Education, Lincoln was above average, but not highly educated. Was he articulate? Extremely articulate. And articulateness on top of education is a great booster. So if you are educated and articulate, you are really powerful, okay? Because you know stuff and you can articulate it. You're believable when you speak about it. We all know or can imagine people who know stuff, but they're not articulate. They can't communicate it to other people. so they're not very effective. Now you take onto that the third thing, attractiveness. And so if somebody has 3 teeth and 1 eye in the middle of their forehead, you kind of never really get to their education or their articulateness because their appearance is so repulsive, you can't really pay attention to them. And when you think about people who were extremely successful, let's say Barack Obama, was he educated? Yeah, he was well educated. Was he articulate? Yes, he was very articulate. Was he attractive? Yes, he was attractive, especially compared to the other people. And he shot up. Once he got national attention, bam, he shot up. President Kennedy, same sort of thing. Young senator, right? First termer, I think, came out of nowhere, well educated, highly articulate, and attractive. Bang, out of the gates. Now you have other people, so like let's say Johnson, not so well educated, not poorly educated, but not well educated, articulate, and his attractiveness was meh. He wasn't attractive, but he was not repulsive. So kind of more in the middle. And then you have people like Churchill. Was he educated? Yes. Was he articulate? Yes. Was he attractive? Not in a classical sort of way, but kind of in a chubby guy, non-threatening sort of way that you could identify, the average person could identify with him. So maybe an exercise to do today would be to look at people, to apply this effectiveness scale on people. How articulate, how educated is that person? How articulate are they? And the icing on the cake would be if they're attractive. Journalists, especially TV personalities and movie stars, they want to appear as attractive. And they're memorizing lines, so they're not really doing things ad hoc on the spur of the moment. And many of them, when they are being interviewed on camera, unscripted, are not really that impressive. They have tricks that they can fall back on, like talking about a movie, talking about lines in a movie, things that are interesting to people. But my hunch would be if you ask them about something out of their field of knowledge, meaning not about a movie they know, but maybe about the movie industry, where it's going, where it came from, or religion, they would be not really impressive. It'd be like, boy, kind of like Robert De Niro, right? When he's talking about politics, not really impressive. Even Leonardo DiCaprio talking about, what is his thing, climate change, something like that. It's scripted. You don't see there's a lot of depth there. You see that there's breadth, but not depth. Clooney was more of a person who had more depth, more of an intellectual, appears to be more articulate, more educated. So that's an interesting thing to do today, is look at this scale. Okay, let's talk about betrayal. All right, thank you. Betrayal. So Jordan Peterson has a very good 2-minute thing on betrayal. And it's like, I thought I knew you, but now I realize I don't know you. And I thought I knew me, because I thought I knew you, but I find out I don't even know me. And I don't know where I am. I thought I was in a home, but I'm not really in a home. I'm in a house, and there's a bunch of strangers in here, meaning you and me. And so I don't really, my whole life, my belief system is shattered and wiped out. So I encourage everybody go to the worksheet down below. Jordan Peterson talking about betrayal. Okay, well, maybe that came across. So that was a good one. That is a little Jordan Peterson short that is attached below. So betrayal wipes things out. So I think if we acknowledge that, don't just brush it off. Oh yeah, betrayed once again. No, I think the point of that is it is really a devastating tsunami. Tsunami that hits land, rolls over everything, wipes it out, destroys it, and it's back to the potential from what it could be in its beginning. Who are you? Who am I? But now, at least as this thing is started over, the who you are, I know better because I know you're capable of such destruction. And now, if we apply that, love one another, love your neighbor as yourself, you would not want somebody to do that to you at all. Thus, don't do it to other people. Betrayal is bad. And if you find you're in a situation, a relationship where betrayal seems like a viable option, well, and he's cheating on me, you got a bigger problem. So maybe the thing is worth fixing, saving before it collapses, because once it collapses, it's really hard to build it back up. Before it collapses, you can shore the thing up, and like the highway systems in California with the overpasses, before they collapse, if you put a collar around them, a reinforced collar, they're even stronger than they were before. So betrayal wipes things out. If you think betrayal is an option, you should rethink the situation rather than resort to betrayal and resort to direct action and with the initial belief that this is worth saving. But if it's not, then move on. Okay, with that, we're going to say and cut. This is Friday, the last day of the week to make something happen, the last Friday of the month to make something happen.